dress. Like I got you like in terms of dressing like super stylized and super stylistic. I took all of my fashion cues from music videos. Like those were the people that I wanted to go to school looking like. You know, it was watching B2K and watching backup dancers and watching like this music video glamour that was always apparent in music videos. So, you know, I always would go big on my aesthetics, on my outfits. Okay. So I really, matter of fact, when I was growing up, I actually wanted to go to school for video production, etc., because I wanted to be a music video director. Very much so inspired by music, inspired by the frequencies of music, inspired by the aesthetics of music, inspired by the poetry, the dancing, everything about music and all of its components just like really resonate with me. So she did her thing on the music video. It was epic. Shout out to, I forgot old boy name who choreographed that whole routine. Everything was sickening. Everything from the way Victoria was styled, everything from the wardrobe to the dancing, just the whole attitude. It could not have been more flawlessly executed. Hands down, one of the best music videos probably in the last 5 years. Victoria would definitely be in that top 5 when it comes to music videos. I would love to see artists get back there to making quality videos, because your music video can keep the lifespan of your it can elongate the lifespan of your song when you bring good visuals and you also, you know, put that creativity there as well. Music videos used to be taken so seriously. I remember when artists used to spend millions of dollars on a single music video. Like people were putting blockbuster money into music videos. Most of Michael Jackson's music videos, Scream, Janet and Busta, What's It Gonna Be, had broke records financially in terms of the guap it took to make all of that CGI happen at that time. Your visuals were very significant once upon a time. So, you know, it gave everything it needed to give. I'm really rooting for Victoria Monet. I hope that she's really up next. I think she's actually nominated for quite a few awards for On My Mama. So I hope she just gets all of the accolade and all of the success. She's hardworking. She's gorgeous. She can dance her ass off. She is just so talented and creative. So shout out to Victoria for making it happen. I still not have checked out her album, but I think I'm going to download it tonight actually and give it a good spin, because I've been hearing some really good things about the record. I remember, I think yesterday even somebody said that Victoria Monet makes the music that they wish Chloe Bailey would make. So I didn't think about that until that comment. I was like, oh my God, like put Chloe Bailey in On My Mama. Like I can totally, like, I think that's the perfect mesh, because Victoria, you know, she's not like overtly sexy, but she still keeps it sexy. But it's clear that she puts her talent to the forefront, and there's almost like a Aaliyah-ness / a Beyonce component to Victoria. It's so well balanced. And when somebody said she makes the music that I wish Chloe Bailey would make, I was like, this would be a nice middle ground for Chloe Bailey for sure. Like to tone the performativeness down a little bit and make it find your groove that makes your execution look natural and fluid, because I think that's why Chloe Bailey gets such a pushback. She's clearly a talented vocalist, clearly a talented dancer, clearly a talented writer, but people have criticized her deeply for being so heavily inauthentic and trying too hard. And Chloe Bailey is definitely way too talented to have to try hard. She can actually rest in her musicality and just find her easiness in it. so that it really just feels genuine and it just feels organic. Because she got all the working components. Okay, she just gotta relax in it, you know, and not worry about fitting in and just focus on actually being her authentic self. And I think the wrinkles are finally smoothed out. But that's another conversation for another day. Shout out to Victoria. Also, shout out to Nicki Minaj. Shout out to Nicki Minaj. Y'all know we are bipolar over here when it comes to Nicki Minaj. I love her music. I don't care for her personality and just how she navigates and all of that, but her music. I love Nicki Minaj's music. I've been a fan of Nicki Minaj's music since day one. I'm excited for Pink Friday 2. I'm loving what I'm hearing so far. I know Nicki Minaj has a mixed reputation because of all of the foo-la-la, etc. But I actually am looking forward to Pink Friday 2. I'm not going to purchase it. I will be bootlegging it, you know. I can't help her get rich, you know, but I will indulge in her music because she ain't about to give none of my money to Kenneth Petty. Okay, that's what she's not about to do. So I will be bootlegging it. I will be snatching it up off of Miss YouTube girl. Okay, like I do everybody else's music. Okay, because you can't be giving none of my coin to Kenneth, baby. Okay, Kenneth gonna have to go to work. All right, but I'm looking forward to Pink Friday 2, and I really hope that Nicki Minaj comes through. What's going on, Wade? I really hope that Nicki Minaj comes through with the visuals, okay? I want everything to just give epic. I want her to be on her MJ-ish, okay? I want everything to be glamorous, over the top. I want the videos to be legendary and iconic. I just hope she puts her foot, her pen, her weave, her Gorilla Glue, her motherfucking coin into Pink Friday 2 and really make it just, I mean, take it to Renaissance levels. I'm highly anticipating Pink Friday 2. So, you know, that's another thing. So shout out to the both of them, because both of them gave me, you know, my themes. Every time I step out the house, you know, I'm on my big difference energy and I'm on my mama energy, period. All right. So before we get into this, girl, okay, it's 204 of you guys in the building. Please give me a nasty piece of thumbs up. You guys know that thumbing up not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you guys are literally thumbing up and liking the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another conscious crew member and letting their asses know to get into the sanctuary, because the preacher is preaching down, girl. Also, shout out to all of the new subbies. Make sure that you have your notification bell set to all. And don't forget to share this stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that is your YouTube community wall, whether that is your Insta story, your Insta snatch, Facebook, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't give a damn where you lay the link. Just let them whores know the Real Out Live and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, y'all? Rachel Marin. Hey, Rachel. What makes you say that? What makes you say that we should do a collab together? Expound on that for me. I'm curious to know what makes you desire a collaboration. Hey, The Breakdown. What's going on, Sherry? Hey, Shondalyn. Hey, Boo. What's going on, Miss Maya? Hey, VS Speaks. What's going on, Kurt? What's going on, Baby Daddy? Hey, Leo Gang, Ladybugs. Hey, babes. What's going on, Sherry? Hi, Perp. What's going on, Tiny? What happened, Tiny? You said Claudia got funky in the end. What happened at the end? Because I did not get a chance to finish the episode. So what took place at the end? Like, give me all the deets. What's going on? Walk in Truth Radio. Hey, boo. Hello, CTV, the greatest commentator in the world, period. What's going on? Oh, my goodness. Hey, Ken Goddess. Hey, babes. What's going on, baby daddy Wade? Hey, what's going on, Elite Leo? Hey, Sherry. Hey, are you open? Am I open? Have you heard of Kalia or Rochelle Jordan? No, I have not. I might need to check them out though. What's going on? Max got facts. I wonder why Beyonce allowed Dolce to open for her one night and not Chloe, since Chloe is under her label. Yeah, the politics over at Ivy Park or Rock Nation or Rockefeller or whatever the hell it's called today. It's interesting, you know. She brought out Megan Thee Stallion, but she didn't bring out Chloe. And Chloe and I know her sister Holly attended the Renaissance tour. I think it was in Atlanta or it was in one of those stops in the States. So yeah, you know, it is interesting over there. I'm not sure why Beyonce didn't invite Chloe as an opening. Hell, she even had DJ Khaled, you know, DJ for her. So everybody got that attention, but Chloe, yeah. What's going on? The breakdown. Hey, Miss Frazier. What's going on, Diana? What's going on, Miss D? What's going on, Ebony? Hey, Lisa. Shout out to Lisa. I'm so glad that your doctors are getting you together, Lisa. They're making sure that everything is good, girl, before they lay you down and resurrect you back into the living, honey. We're sending you light love from the Conscious crew, making sure that in the name of Jesus, that all surgical procedures, all cosmetics, baby. Lisa over there getting that BBL, y'all. She over there getting that mommy makeover, honey. She getting them breast assists filled in, baby. She about to give these young hoes, you know, a work for they buck, baby. So we sending Lisa much love and light, baby, okay? On all her cosmetic teams, baby. Get it together. Shout out to Lisa, though. In all seriousness, we're covering you, and we're looking forward to you coming up and out healthy and vibrant and getting your life and your momentum back, Lisa. So I'm glad to hear all of the good stuff. What's going on, Sabri? What's going on, Kiwana? Hey, y'all. I can't speak to everybody because there's a lot of y'all in the building. What's going on, Miss Mika? Hey, Bill. But let me make sure. What's going on, Sipping Socialite? Hey, what's going on, Tiffany? Hey, babes. Yes, I am the queen of the night, child. They be stalking me, child. I know that's real. Let me scroll up a little bit. How doing? Hey, St. James. What's going on? Hey, Tiny. Nah, I meant at the end of what she said regarding the transphobia. Oh, okay. Got it. CTV, I love you. All spaces and places. You add so much value. Thank you, it's Mimi. Thank you. What's going on? Have you ever heard? Okay, let me see. Let me go to Rochelle's comments. You and Mob both go in on celebrities, and you both go into intellectual conversations on societal topics related to mess up stuff celebs do. Well, you never know what happens, child. You know, the future is unwritten, girl. You know, I'm open to collaborating with content creators. I've collabed with so many. Matter of fact, Mob Radio was actually on my platform doing the whole unhinged debauchery and that whole infamous Christmas weekend. She had hit the link. My association with Mob is kind of weird because she's also kind of talked a little bit of ish about a bish. So I don't know where the energy at, but overall, I'm always open to collab with, you know, all content creators on content, etc. These are my peers. So shout out to Mob as well. Storm in the building. What's going on, Storm and Road? Can y'all drop the link? Okay, yes, I'll drop the link. Is nobody getting my link through text? I had text you the link, Storm, but it might not have come through. When I was texting it yesterday to my panelists, it didn't come through either. That's weird as fuck. Or maybe you just prefer to get up here through this avenue. I don't know. But I just dropped the link for Storm and Storm only right now, you guys. Okay, all right, so Storm is going to be joining me. Oh, you didn't get it. That is weird as fuck. Hold on. I don't understand why StreamYard is not letting me text the link out. That is so weird. Let me make sure I actually sent it, child. Oh, yeah, I sent it at 4:11. That's crazy as hell. Wow. All right, we got some moolah coming through, child. Thank you, baby mother Ken. Yes, God, for the child support check, honey. Okay, send it. Bitcoin, big difference. Shout out to you, baby mother Ken. God, for the nasty piece of cash app, girl. Paying me for my work, honey. I live for the Consciouztv, child. Thank you. God bless you, Ken Goddess. I love you down boots, babes. I appreciate you. Okay, so while we waiting on Storm to get up here, you guys, let me go ahead and lay out the show. So you guys already know what the headline is, girl. We're here to get into Miss Funky Dineva, girl. I just watched yesterday's episode from TGIF, which you guys know I am a super fan of. Okay, what's going on, Storm?
Hey, Conscious, how you doing?
I am doing well. How you doing today?
I am good. I'm like fresh out the shower. I feel clean. I'm in a good mood.
Come on, you got that penis all shiny and clean, honey. Ready for the next cake. I ain't mad at it. I'm happy you could join me. And I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. I'm not sure if I've ever really heard you really speak about TGIF in any way. So I'm just really curious to know what your feedback is going to be, especially because this particular situation has come up quite a few times over the course of TGIF. So I'm gonna play some clips and get your thoughts.
For sure.
Okay, so before we get there, you guys know I'm a fan of TGIF. I thought it was a little vanilla in its inception, and then I just kept sticking with it, and I really fell in love with TGIF. I think that Al Reynolds, Claudia Jordan, and Funky Dineva have a great thing going over there. I even love when it gets spicy and it gets a little controversial because it just keeps it fresh, okay? And I just think the personalities are very complimentary. You got Mr. Al, who kind of has a dry humor. You got Claudia, who is there to provide that woman perspective, that female perspective. And she's also pretty witty herself. And then I love, obviously, Funky Dineva is the comedic relief of the show. And then him and Claudia's banter is really fun at times. And they both can be very opinionated, which can make the show engaging and captivating. So I really, really, really like TGIF. And not just because they shouted me out last year when I did all my coverage for, the Nicki Minaj lawsuit against Nosy Ho Live, child. Not just because of that, but, shout out to them and shout out to me for just being the baddest commentator out in this motherfucker. But, I love them because they just good, okay? They are good. But you guys know that TGIF has ended up on the docket quite a few times, okay? So what happened in yesterday's episode, I'm going to let you guys hear it for yourself, but Funky Dineva just flat out, I'm talking about he wasn't being cute, he wasn't being coy, he didn't put a Coke or a smile on his statement to Claudia Jordan that she is 1/3 of a transphobe, she is 1/3 of a homophobe. And baby, he said that thing with such crispiness. I know that's why Claudia Jordan felt it. And why she received it the way she received it, not only because she cannot stand the label of transphobe, which Funky wouldn't be the first person to call Claudia Jordan a homophobe or transphobic. Claudia Jordan has received feedback from LGBT people over the course of TGIF for being transphobic or homophobic. I know that trans activist Hope Giselle, shout out to Hope, has also called Claudia Jordan out for wading in the water and riding the fence and not really standing in the paint the way that she should, considering that she always proclaims to be for trans men and women, for trans people, for LGBT people. She talks a good game, but Hope Giselle has caught her slipping on quite a few banana peels. To the point that Hope Giselle, despite working toward a relationship to Claudia Jordan and with Claudia Jordan, even being on panels with Claudia Jordan about the intersections of sexuality and gender, ended up blocking her because she just got really fed up with the pick Misha and what Hope Giselle felt was flip-flopping and belly flopping on Claudia Jordan's behalf. So Claudia Jordan has received this criticism. I'm going to let you guys see what happened yesterday, and then I want to play another clip as a follow-up, and then me and Storm will give you guys our feedback. So, of course, this is covered by fair use for purposes of criticism, news reporting, scholarship, etc. This is courtesy of the Fox Soul Digital Network. So, shout out to Fox Soul and Claudia Jordan, all of them folk up over there. So let me pull this back a little bit. Let me share my screen. How doing? And let's take a look and a listen, you guys. Matter of fact, let me switch over my microphone, actually. All right.
All right, y'all, but this is all alleged. All right. Transgender woman Dylan Mulvaney was recently named Woman of the Year by Virgin Atlantic and a British LGBTQ magazine. During her acceptance speech, Dylan said, "I'm so honored to be with you all tonight. And you know, some see me as the Woman of the Year, some see me as Woman of the Year, and some change, as I only publicly came out online 560 days ago. And some people don't see me as a woman at all." Any thoughts on Dylan receiving this recognition? Go ahead, Q. I want to hear this.
Okay, so y'all heard that. Okay, so they're covering a trans woman who was being celebrated and accoladed in a LGBT space for being Woman of the Year. She wasn't in a hetero space. She wasn't in a biological, natural-born, real woman space, as some people like to say. She was in a LGBT space being celebrated as Woman of the Year as a trans woman.
Actually none. And this is one of those stories I was like, oh Lord, I hope tonight Claudia don't go on one of her tangents with this woman stuff and this trans stuff, because I'm not in the mood for it. But honestly and truthfully, this really is a non-story. It's an LGBTQ magazine. Let it alone. It's not like it's Sports Illustrated. It's not like it's Entertainment Tonight. If she's going to be named Woman of the Year anywhere, let it be in the LGBTQ space. This really is a non-story, in my opinion.
Okay, so that was that. I'm going to skip past Al's part and get to Claudia.
Oh, that was some shade. Oh my God.
Look. Oh, let me tell you what the gag is, Storm. I find it so interesting that they opened up, right? They opened up the show with like them all being in their feelings. Claudia and Funky was like, it must be retrograde or something. Something must be in the air, because both of them been in their feelings. Both of them been emotional. Claudia Jordan talked about something that took place in her personal life that really upset her. So she was like crying her eyeballs out to the point that she was about to, that her head was about to implode like the submersible Titan at 1,000 feet. And then Funky Dineva was like, yeah, girl, like it must be something astrological and celestial going on, because I just ain't been with it. I've been like Dineva been in a funk. So it's interesting how there's something that's transpiring, and then it literally showed up. Not even 14 minutes into their show, that funky energy showed up and really kind of rocked the boat with the both of them. So that's interesting to me. But here is Claudia's response to the trans woman being celebrated in an LGBT space for Woman of the Year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, let me go ahead and say something, and I take slight offense to you, Q, saying that I don't want her to go on her rants. I'm supposed to defend. If we had a gay issue, and I said, and it was an issue that affected your community, you would definitely defend yours and go hard.
No, you just teeter the lines of transphobic and homophobic.
No, I don't.
Wow.
No, I do not.
Community, you do.
And what if I said you?
Wow, like y'all, I was shook.
Did something happen behind the scenes?
Right. I was just like, he snatched her wig right off her head.
And I mean, and he snatched it quick. I mean,
and he was for real. He ain't put no type of like on it at all. There was no kiki energy. He was dead ass straight faced with her ass when he made that statement.
Like, did she do something or say something on social media? Because you know they friends in real life, so something fucking happened.
I don't know. What I do know that something out of this karmic debt that's finally coming back to collect on their ass, and both, because you know how sometimes you could just be aggravated in general and you really just not in the mood, period. And so you just like your attitude is with all the shits. And I don't know if this topic added like gasoline to a fire that they already showed up with, because the both of them are being fucked with in their real life. But you're right. I don't know whether something could have happened on social media. I don't know whether Funky, but I know Funky not even. He just said, bitch, you do got a pattern of jumping out the window when it comes to the community, period. And Funky Dineva was like, he really wanted her to understand that smoke that he just gave her. I want to rewind it back just to let people just take that in one more time.
A gay issue, and I said, and it was an issue that affected your community, you would definitely defend yours and go hard.
No, you just teeter the lines of transphobic and homophobic.
No, I don't.
You do.
No, I do not.
Communities, you do.
And what if I said you teeter the lines of being negative and black women hatred? Like, no.
Wow. I got
Wait a minute. What? Are we missing something?
Clearly, it's some salt and pepper missing from. It was some salt and pepper missing from the macaroni, so they tethered that thing up. They seasoned that thing up, baby.
They wasted no time. Now you know, you know a nigga like me. I'd be like, okay, let me not do this on camera. Let me do this off camera. But they said, fuck that. We finna hash this out right now. Shit.
It got. Let me tell you something. Claudia was bent. I'm about to show y'all. Claudia was bent even when they came back from break, because I think something happened when they went to commercial too. Because if you catch that first 7 seconds of Claudia when she comes back out the commercial, something a bit more. It was a bit more confrontation that took place once they ass went off on break. But I'm gonna let y'all see it.
Make a video about how you don't. It's not transphobic when I say I'm just being positive and pro women, and I've never said anything negative about trans women. I've actually have defended a lot of times. I remember being on shows with people, with men, straight men, just cisgender men, which I don't like to use that term, but natural born men, and fighting vehemently for the rights and the acknowledgement of the trans community. The problem with this, and I think, and you're also part of this, you can't have a space where if I have any criticism for something you've done and you happen to be gay or trans, that means it's an indictment against the community, because that's not fair. It's an indictment against the individual, an argument with the individual, but it's not fair to put that on someone, because it makes people just be afraid to have a real honest conversation. Like if you have a fight with me and it's about principle, a thing, right? Not anything to do with me as a black woman or you as a gay man. It should not be deemed as you being anti-black woman, and it should not be deemed as me being homophobic or transphobic. If I can never criticize you because of what box you check off, is that equal rights or is that privilege? And I think that's unrealistic. I have no hatred or fear of the trans community, and I resent that label. So I'm going to say something every single time. And yes, this woman being named Woman of the Year in a neutral space, of course I would have something to say about that. But in a trans space, hell no, have at it. But
that's exactly where she was accoladed at, in a trans space. This wasn't a neutral space. She was celebrated in the LGBT space as Woman of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I heard about Dylan being Woman of the Year, I didn't know where she had got that award from. Now that you say that, then yeah, it's not even a story. She was with her own people. Yep,
and that's why Funky said everything he said. Like who? So we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it.
I got one question though. So Claudia said, as a black woman, when Claudia black? When did that happen?
Now you know, Storm. Y'all can't tell Claudia she
When
ain't tan.
happened?
Y'all can't tell her that her tanness is not blackness. So y'all know Claudia lives and shows up and declares that she is a whole entire black woman.
I'm just asking when did that happen, because I mean, if we roll back the clock, she has always made it known that she's mixed. So she said, as a black woman, who's the black woman?
Baby, she black in this season.
Come on. Wow. I was shocked. Okay.
She said, but baby, y'all can't tell Claudia that she not Harriet Tubman. Y'all can't tell Claudia that she not Rosa Parks, baby. Y'all can't tell her that she ain't Angela Bassett. Y'all can't tell her that, Storm. That's a whole entire black woman.
I'm just surprised because, if you go back to the Miss USA competition when she was, pledging or whatever, she said she was black and Italian and she was from across the pond. So I was just trying to figure out when she became black.
She had misspoken during all them years.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
that was she was putting that was accident on her tongue's part, baby. This is a whole black woman. She literally started the civil rights movement.
Did she become black when a clit left her body? Like when did this happen?
You know what? Muted, Storm.
Other trans women that are more notable that deserve it, and I'll say T.S. Madison deserves it more for the strides that T.S. Madison has made. I just heard about Dylan 300 days ago. So that's what I'm saying. I have to say something because I feel like when we make comments like that, it just shuts people up that I can't say anything critical or I'm going to be deemed transphobic when you know that's not the case. We've had conversations about this, and I just want to make that very clear. All right? I don't have any hatred or phobias for the community. I don't.
I want y'all to look. Claudia Jordan is in tears. She is like Claudia Jordan was visibly teary, girl. Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. But she was very much so watery in the eyeballs. Okay? I don't know if those are the mulatto tears that everybody talk about, but she was very upset.
All right.
Look at Claudia. Claudia is visibly distressed, Storm.
I mean, she was going full Karen at that moment, but I'm just still stuck on like, let me stop. I'm gonna let you keep playing it.
Okay, because I want y'all to catch her expression when she come back from this long ass commercial because the producers gave them time to swing on each other backstage.
Coming up next, Monica reveals why she feels underappreciated.
Look at Claudia. I never seen her depressed.
And later we have your key fact of the day. Stay close. We'll be right back. Hit that like.
Okay, so I want y'all to catch
her voice crumbled.
I want y'all to catch this, girl. Look at Claudia's facial expression. Let me zoom this back out. Look dead at the screen. Look at her, baby! Claudia! Baby! Look, Claudia! Done laid somebody ass out. Girl, she done put up that pink slip.
Boy, she contacted HR on break, low key. God damn.
Claudia ass got the eye of the tiger on her ass, baby. Look at this whole energy. Look at this whole demeanor. She don't even look like Claudia no more.
Sure don't.
I mean, wow. So I want y'all to take a few more observations of her and Funky's interaction after this.
Welcome.
She's clearly trying to hold it back together. Something just transpired back in the background more. She had to try to pull it all in. Remember that she needed $20,000 a month to pay for these new double doors she just put on this big ass house. Okay, she still got more trips and she want to fly private to Dubai every other month, so she can't afford to blow this shit. She know Funky is essential to the show too. She's trying to pull it in.
Well, to be fair, I mean, you can make $20K in Dubai just getting shitted on one weekend, to be fair.
Yeah, but if you could prefer to get $20,000 just being pretty on screen versus $20,000 after you've been a human toilet, which one you think is more ideal?
Yeah, facts. I'll be pretty.
In an interview with Maverick Carter and Paul Revere that she feels underappreciated as an artist. Monica said, I'm actually a person that, for all the records I've broken, I really have never won any awards. I'm really the most forgotten, if you think about it. I'm pretty much the underdog, but I sit very comfortably in it because I can still go wherever I want, do what I want, live how I want.
I want y'all to see this.
Because Monica is a very talented person, and does she really get her flowers? What are your thoughts on this remarks? Q, I know you're super into music and you're like our music guru here. What do you think about what she said?
You know what?
She is just stone-faced when it comes to Q. The whole time he's talking, she's still teary-eyed. She's visibly upset. She doesn't want to be here in this moment. She ain't feeling fucking with Q at all. So that's that, okay? So I wanted y'all to see that. Now, what I want to do is go back a year ago. Because a year... Mm-hmm.
No, I was just saying, oh, my bad. I meant to mute this. Hold up.
Oh. Storm over there with a woman, y'all. A year ago, there was a situation that came up where they were talking about an actress, and I'm just going to let y'all check it out, okay? Because it led... This actress, I believe she's an actress, came out as lesbian, I think, or bisexual. And so there was this discussion about, coming out the closet. Is that something that still needs to happen in 2022? Because who really cares, right? Some people feel that LGBT folk have been fully integrated into society. So what, it's not you don't need to come out anymore. Like the aliens have landed already. So, what's the big hoopla these days? So this created all of that discussion. And Claudia Jordan, after Funky had broke down why coming out is necessary, even in 2022 or 2023, etc. And Claudia made some interesting statements that I'm going to let you guys take a look and a listen to. I'm going to share my screen once again. This is an episode of TGIF from a year ago, and this is with Unhinged's name in the title. This is Storm's ex-mentor. Okay, it was also covering child. So listen to this. This also is covered by fair use, you guys. And there's a reason why I'm showing you all this.
Person, I want to get to a point where I don't need to know about your business. Right. I don't care if you're messing with men and women, women and women. I don't care. Can we get back to judging by the character of the content of your character? Like, right. I feel like people are getting special privileges now because of it, and also getting discriminated because of it. How about we get to a point where it's like we're just back at zero? You know what I mean? Where, right. Guess what? I don't care. It's really none of my... Do y'all care? Hey, y'all, I had some DICK. I had some straight sex last night. I'm proud of this. Like, we're at a point now where, like, people are leading with that. And I think that's why that is such a small percentage of who you are as a human being.
Let's not be dismissive, though, of the fact that it's part of your identity and it does provide context. All right? Because if we're sitting in an office environment, Claudia, and you don't know that I'm gay, you sit here and start talking to me about marriage and children and a picket fence and a dog, you need to know that I'm gay so we don't have that conversation. You get what I'm saying? So
I can't have a conversation about what's normal to me because it's
No, you can have a conversation, but then what happens when you start talking to me about what are you going to do when your kids go away to college, or when are you and your wife going to get married? Well, I don't have a wife. You see what I'm saying? It's contextual. It provides. It's not necessary, but knowing who somebody is provides context. Okay, so Bucky goes on to tell her, hey, coming out is going to happen because there are going to be conversations that people are having in the workplace about vacation and their home life and their kids, etc. So you're bound to also share your personal life. And that leads to the coming out process. Not that it's necessary, but it's just something that's going to happen because people are in the business of yabba dabba doing and communicating to each other. So, do you want to give your thoughts first, Storm? Or you let me know.
Yeah, I wanted to say this before we get into the most recent video. Like, I don't know if I completely agree with her saying, like, who cares if you come out? We don't need to know who you're screwing, because as far as I know, I got motherfuckers online still trying to guess my sexuality. So for her to say people really don't care, no, people care. It is a thing. Like, I for her to just say, "Oh, people really don't give a fuck." Like, no, people do. I don't know why people do, but people definitely do. So that was disingenuous from her to say. But anyway.
Okay, so how do you feel about Funky saying that Claudia is on the spectrum of homophobia and transphobia? What do you think about her going off about this trans woman being awarded Woman of the Year in a trans space?
I think that to live, at least in America, and to not think that you won't have some racism on you, some transphobia on you, some homophobia on you, is ridiculous. It's all around us. It's ingrained in our culture. And so for her to just think like, I'm not transphobic, I'm not homophobic, like, sis, I'm sure you have or carry some ideals or values, principles, something that could be considered homophobic or transphobic. It's just we're raised with it. You can't really get away from it. Now, once you recognize certain behaviors are homophobic or transphobic, then you can make certain changes and blah blah blah. But to just say, I'm not transphobic, I'm not homophobic, like, that's, once again, it's her being disingenuous. Like if that's the case, then let's audit them group chats. Let's get in her phone. Let's look at them group chats. I'm pretty sure.
Baby, both Claudia already done said, baby, if y'all get into her group chat, she will indefinitely be canceled, bitch. She will not be a working girl. She will be in our unemployment line. She will be swiping that food stamp line, that food stamp card. If y'all get up into her group text.
That's all I'm saying. All those damn Jamie Foxx parties, all those freak ass Shamar, and everybody know about a Shamar Moore party. Just because you been there and you was cool with it, don't mean you ain't homophobic at all. I'm just saying, it's more than just working around the homos. It's more than just it's more than just occupying spaces with them. It's really understanding the plight, and it's a lot more to it. So yeah, like I said, let's get in them group chats, because now, baby, it's something about you that's homophobic or transphobic.
Crystal says, I don't think it's phobic, it's just an opinion. So let me lay this down. I want to say, okay, because I did not follow Claudia Jordan's career prior to TGIF. So I don't know a lot about Claudia's career over the span of time. I don't know everything she's ever did. I don't know everything she's ever said. I literally became a fan of her through watching TGIF. I'm compartmentalized like that. I can like people over here and not really know anything else about them in any other context, because I don't watch them outside of the spaces that are attractive to me for them. And Claudia Jordan is one of those people. I like her personality. I like her on the show. I don't want to hold back my thoughts just because I like her on the show. So I want to give these thoughts in love and in just being constructive. I don't think Claudia is a bad person at all. I do think, to somebody's point in the chat, that Claudia has a tendency to be deaf tone, and she doesn't hear herself. And the reason why I wanted to play that second clip is because this is what Funky Dineva meant when he said, no, you have a history of specifically jumping out of the window when it comes to our community, that anytime anything comes up around trans people anywhere, or gay men being gay men, that you literally have something to say, right? Because Claudia Jordan is in that clip that I just played from a year ago saying, hey, why do people need to come out and share their business? I don't need to know. Like, keep it to yourself. But yet, let me share my screen again. Keep in mind what she just said in this clip for a year ago, that why do people come out? I don't need to know. It doesn't really matter. People can't, have discretion and just keep things in themselves. But I want you guys to take a look back at the episode from yesterday, because they get into a segment about Jada Pinkett Smith, and check out what Claudia Jordan had to say about Jada Pinkett Smith in yesterday's episode.
Now I've healed myself from that, and now I can give you my testimony, and here I am. But the fake still, I didn't do that, I didn't do this. afraid to say this. I was doing extra work. I was very shy, and I was like, oh my God, I had no idea what was happening. But like people get, they bring her over here. Let me out and meet her and all that kind of stuff. What you want from me? I'm making $100 a day doing extra work. I'm just saying, stop it. Just be quiet, because people like me who have a couple drinks are gonna be like making you look crazy.
But girl,
I'm gonna rewind this back a little bit.
Hey,
I see right here.
I'm not lying though, so I'm not afraid to say this. I was doing extra work. I was very
I'm gonna
shy.
rewind it back a little bit
oh.
before that. Hold on, let me go back a little bit.
But when you go on tours, and I think that's why Jada's getting more smoke than Will, because Will's not saying anything. He just like being quiet because he knows he's got some dirt with him as well. But she, like, all this trying to be perfect, because I know she markets herself as a healer, and I get that, right? But a real healer would say, I've done this, I've done that, I've been toxic, I've healed myself from that, and now I can give you my testimony, and here I am. But the fake still, I didn't do that, I didn't do this. Girl, there's too many of us that have seen you around LA, who have seen you on the set. Remember when Ellen had her show? Mm-hmm. I did extra work on that episode, and Jada was a guest on that, and one of the stagehands damn near tried to deliver me to her, okay? So I would say...
So Claudia Jordan, she goes on this diatribe about how basically Jada Pinkett Smith is a lying asshole. She is bisexual. She has been seeking at least coochie outside of her husband's, outside of her marriage. And she talked about this situation with her being on the Ellen show, where one of Jada Pinkett Smith's flying monkeys tried to recruit her into the lesbian cult on behalf of...
Y'all knew that Jada was a
Jada.
Liquor.
Okay, right. So now keep in mind the clip from a year ago. Claudia, the same person who, when it came to LGBT folk, why we need to know? I don't need to know. Who cares what you're sleeping with? You should do this in the privacy of your own home. Who cares? Like, we don't need to know everything. But here it is. She's talking essentially about a bisexual woman who didn't put her business out there herself. She kept it to herself. Here it is. Claudia is weaponizing that information and indulging in dialogue about how other people get down in a sex life. But yet, when it comes to talking about queer people having actual visibility and being able to have a normalized, dignified experience, she got pushed back. And all of a sudden now there needs to be censorship and discretion, and this is too much information. But yet she is literally in the business of literally putting out other people's business and sex life, and have even through the course of Fox Soul shared some of her sexual excursions and taking a big dick and the size she likes it, and taking it in doggy, and not having sex for a long time, and needing some good dick and all of this. So when Funky said, no, baby, you toe the line of Miss Trans, Miss Homophobia, because it can be all this openness and all this, free sharing of information, girl, the Free Information Act, etc. when it comes to everybody else. But when it comes to queer people, you always got some type of a in your energy. Always like there's a little bit of defensive posture. You always kind of want to scoot queer people over. And then to make matters worse, you're sitting here upset and pressed about a trans woman being celebrated in a trans space. So,
but dude, okay, and wow, okay. I see now that you gave it context, I see where you're coming from. So of course that's hypocritical of her, but here's the issue: she is not like, if you go to her and you spit it to her like that, that's gonna be like you trying to get her to do algebra or something. You got to like really break it down and make it basic, because the way the world is, even the way they look at gay or bisexual women versus gay or bisexual men is totally different. So it's a lot of hypocrisy you're combating when it comes to Claudia. I will say this: is that bordering homophobic? Yes. But I dare say this whole cast is a mix basically of homophobia, transphobia, and misogynoir. Because I mean, I don't know if Funky and Al is any better. I know that's a different issue though, but
Okay, because I want to touch on that too, Storm, but I want to finish.
yeah,
I mean, Claudia Jordan, but yes, I want us to go into that too. So you say break it down to an algebra level. So
I'm just saying, because she's not even gonna catch that. She's not even aware of that. That would be, I guess you can say, kind of like a micro.
All she needs to do is listen to her queer peers. If Funky Dineva is a queer man and he's like, look, no, I'm telling you that the things you say in the underbelly and in the undertone are littered with homophobia and transphobia. Okay, not only do you not, okay, you claim that you for trans women, you claim that you for women, period, which also for you includes trans women. You don't make a distinction. You hear for people being who they are, how they identify, etc. But yet you don't want trans women in women's spaces, really. There's been you've given backlash over them occupying bathrooms, etc. There's issues with a trans woman being celebrated as a trans woman in a trans space. So essentially you don't want a trans woman to be a trans woman. Because how you don't want a trans woman in a space carved out for trans women to be seen and celebrated as a woman.
So let me.
And she's not even in a woman. She's not even in a biological woman space. She's in a trans space, and you still are butthurt and feel the need to lead this Claudia Luther King movement of protect real women. But this trans woman is in a trans space minding her trans ass business. So what is the issue? Like,
yeah, right. There should be no issue there, because it really shouldn't even be on their docket then, so to speak. But and I'm assuming Claudia picked that story to talk about. She really wanted to talk about that story. But then here's I lost where I was gonna go with that, but hold on, it'll come back to me.
Okay, because I want to add this tidbit too, right? Because we have this. The dominant society has this misunderstanding, and this is a teachable educational moment for members of the dominant society. When we think of homophobia, transphobia, we always think of like the slurs. Like, as long as a person ain't saying the slurs, it's just an opinion, right? Like, as long as they're not using the T word or the F word, then it's just an opinion. That's not true. You can be homophobic and transphobic just like you can be a misogynist, you can be a misandrist, you can be a colorist, you can be a racist in an overt fashion or a covert fashion. And I feel like the covert BS never really gets the same emphasis as the overt expression of any of this anti-anything. So when you are being covertly homophobic, covertly transphobic, yes, you get to go on record and technically say, well, I never call a trans woman the T word, and I don't refer to gay men as the F word, and I don't refer to lesbian women as the D word. But if in all your talking points, it's consistently, I don't have a problem with LGBT folk, but why they can't be LGBT over there? Why they can't? Shouldn't they be over there? Shouldn't they be in some other space? Shouldn't they be, across the way? There's always this pushing out and scooting out and moving out of queer people. And this is equivalent to, once again, because we see covert racism all the time, where a covert racist, no, they didn't say the N-word. No, they didn't even say colored people. No, they didn't use any of the slurs. But once again, if Hillary Clinton said, I don't have a problem with Black people, I just think Black people need to be in Black spaces. I think that Black people need to live in the Black community. I think Black people need to attend Black award shows. I think Black people just need to be Black wherever black is, none of us will let that slide.
Hell no,
as just her opinion, and none of us will let that slide as non-racist, because we know what she's saying without trying to say it. Now,
true. So my question is, okay, it came back to me. So my question is, when it comes to Claudia, here's the issue when people have shows and they build audiences and this and then the third. Sometimes I don't know when somebody's giving their opinion, if that's really their opinion or if they know that's the general opinion of their fan base. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, when Claudia criticizes trans women, is she criticizing because she has a true criticism? Or is she just trying to make sure she stays in the good graces of her female fan base?
I think, for me, my observation, I think there is a crawl up Claudia's ass. And so this is what an opinion would look like, Storm. Hey, I don't know why this trans woman is being celebrated. I don't even know what the hell she does. I don't know what she contributes to the culture. I feel like there are other trans women who probably were more deserving of that. For instance, T.S. Madison or Laverne Cox or Janice Mock or Hope Giselle. What is it? Like, I never even heard about this trans woman prior to her ending up on the docket. So why is she being awarded as Woman of the Year? And I don't really see her making no spaces. I don't see her really improving upon the movement. But when your opinion actually has to do with the actual gender identity, when your opinion has to do with the actual orientation, not the person, not the trans person's personhood, but it has to do with their identity, that's where it becomes homophobic. That's where it becomes transphobic, because you have to make it about the gender identity. You got to make it about the homosexuality. You got to make it about the lesbianism. You got to make it about that, instead of just criticizing the trans woman as an individual without having to be critical of her identity. And this is where I feel like, Storm, it'd be a false equivalent when people like to say, well, Funky Dineva is a commentator and he always puts black women on blast. The reason why that's a false equivalency is because Funky Dineva don't make it about black women being a woman. He's criticizing an attitude. He's criticizing a behavior. He's criticizing a statement. He's criticizing something being done. He's not concerning himself with the gender or the sex of the woman he's criticizing. He's making criticisms about whatever that individual is doing. But when you're commentating specifies and is emphasizing somebody's orientation or their ethnicity or their gender, that's when you start stepping into that label of being considered a homophobe and transphobe. And so unfortunately, we have a lot of members of the dominant society who feel like, no, it's not homophobic, it's just my opinion. No, if your opinion involves othering, belittling, degrading, dehumanizing another person because of a intersection in their identity, that's not it is an opinion, and it's a bigoted one. And that's where the label transphobe or racist or anti-black or misogynist or misandrous can come into play at.
But do you see how you explain that? Like, okay, well, first of all, you take your light-skinned ass up there and you explain it to her just like that. Because the way you explained it, that gives room for grace. It gives room for correction. The way Funky went about it, it creates a space where like people are afraid to just talk. They're afraid to give their opinions because, you know, you're queer. You live in the queer space. You know, you're every man, every woman, whatever you want to be, Conscious. That's just you. You know, shit, you a witch. You play in the spirits and all that
You know
shit.
what?
Like,
Telling all my goddamn business up here. God damn it.
but I'm just saying, like, you're very comfortable in that space. And, you know, people from the dominant society, so to speak, they don't know. Like, they're not even thinking deeply about it like that. They're thinking very surface, even though she's very intelligent intellectually, right? And if you broke it down like that, she will probably have a better understanding versus just saying, you transphobic. Yeah, you always on that bullshit. There you go on that bullshit again. You know you hate the fucking gays and the trans like that. She's like, it's not going to be well received. But I like the way you broke it down. Like, look, this is your opinion. This is where you're crossing the line. The same way we would do with the racists. This is your opinion. This is where you're being racist. Like sometimes you literally have to talk to somebody like they're a fifth grader. You can't, like, you have to really break it down because, you know, like I said, she's around the homos, but she doesn't really live a queer life. You know, some of her men might have been taken by home. She might have walked into a party and a nigga that she wanted was sucking dick, and she feels some kind of way. I'm sure that's happened many times, but I'm just saying, I'm sure she's went to many parties and opened the wrong door, and you know, her favorite nigga is doing a line and got, you know, and doing double anal and double oral. Like it is what it is.
It might be some drama there. It's some drama. Show some drama there.
It's some drama. You know, she's been in Hollywood for years, so she done seen some shit. You know. But I'm just saying, I like the way you approached it, maybe because you're emotionally intelligent. You know what I'm saying? I think I
like to think of myself as just flat out perfect.
You know what? I'm not playing with you. Now I don't know if Funky was just in a bad mood. You know, he bipolar. You know, he be up and down. But I like the way you did it because, like the way you did it, I still would feel safe to express my opinion. If people gonna express their opinions, they gonna cross some lines. They're gonna say some out of line shit, and you have to say, "Wait a minute, no, that's not cool." And you break it down, like.
But you know why? Now that I'm thinking about it, you know why I think Funky just didn't lace it with no sugar and no ice, and he ain't put no lube on that thing before he went in. Is because Claudia Jordan has been corrected so many times, whether that's by Al, whether that's by him, or she even, to Hope Giselle's point, girl, we've been on an entire panel together about this issue, broke this thing down to the bone marrow, down to the molecular level. We broke it down to the 1 + 1 = 2. 0 times any number is 0. We literally have committed so much energy to raising your awareness, and then you tell us in those instances, I get it, I understand, you're nodding, you're in agreement, and then you get outside the space and you pussy pop and backpedal. You get all weird and glitchy, but we take time to educate you, to nuance you on the issue. And you with it all. You with all the information. You with all the perspective. You with all the logic. You with everything. And then you still time and time again can't stay on that straight and narrow. You can't sustain that continuity. You get lost in the sauce. You get raggedy. You get sideways. You get diagonal on it. And so I think maybe that's the place that Funky's just flat out, girl, you told a line. Ain't even no way to cut it at this point. We like 2-3 years into this thing. You done been on LGBT panels. You are adjacent to LGBT folk. We done talked about this stuff publicly. We done had discourse privately. At this point, Claudia, it's just giving what it's giving. It's just looking like what it's looking like at this point.
Yeah, but then she just got to stand 10 toes down on that. See, I didn't know that part. You know, I don't watch the show like that. You know, me and Funky cool or whatever, but I don't. You know, I be over here
Mm-hmm.
smoking weed. Anyway, but okay, I get it. So she's been educated. It's been broken down. And I know you guys said, look, they both. I saw some people in the chat say they both direct talkers. I get it, but they're also friends. So, and they're also co-hosts. So you don't. I don't know. You don't want to make your co-host look crazy on camera.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You always want to be a united front. And I can cuss you out behind the scenes.
Right.
But on this camera, you know, I'm gonna keep.
We're gonna have some couth and some tact.
Yes.
Because the way I would have did it, if this was my friend, somebody I'm in a relationship to, I would have just did what I did, you know, up here. I just would have helped her to see it rather than just make that blanketed comment, leave it without context, leave it without information, leave it without all of that, because I wouldn't want to do her like that in front of everybody and trigger up, you know, all of this. So I wouldn't have did that to my friend. I would have just helped my friend to see, okay, well, babe, there is criticisms against you for towing the lines of homophobia and transphobia. And this is some of the reasons why the community maybe feels like that. And then I would have let her, you know, have her discord in response to that. But I wouldn't have personally just made that blanketed statement and left her wide open, like a wide back receiver.
It's kind of like he just it felt like just like a direct attack, like wow, like damn, you just smacked the shit out of her in front of everybody. Shit, like, you know, but then your face sting, and you just got to sit there and just keep a pretty face. It's like, oh fuck, but I like I said to the people in the chat, they are friends. At least that's what they told us.
Yeah, that's what they say. They're friends. And now we also know that friendships are raggedy these days. So friendships ain't how they used to be, honey. Like, we got all these, like, this new version of friendship. It is raggedy. It is tied to raggedy as hell. But that is the term they use to Stone's point. They use friend.
They use friend. Now I'm gonna be honest. Now. You know, when people get at it, it's always the underlying issues. Maybe Funky feel Claudia really didn't stick up for him when he was being dragged about his comments about Chloe. You see what I'm saying? Maybe because
you think he might be passive aggressive and getting his lick back.
It might be a lick back. I'm just saying he might have just been waiting for her to fuck up. Because you know, eventually she gonna slip up. You know, she already
that what made Funky a shady bitch, Storm. Oh, that what made Funky a shady bitch, Storm.
I'm just saying, because even when Funky was out for a while,
that's so evil.
I'm just saying, we don't because we all know that Funky. We know that Funky got an email from HR, and that shit said, if you want to keep your job, I suggest you make an apology. So who knows if he feels like Claudia really didn't stick up for him, didn't really take to her social media to say, no, Funky's not like that. I'm a black woman, since she a black woman. I'm a black woman. You know, he doesn't treat me that way. That's not the cue. I know, like,
you got a point, so you got a point. I didn't consider that. That's an interesting hypothesis.
It's some deeper. It's
an interesting allegation, child.
All I'm saying is it's something deeper, because baby, she was over there in tears, and he gave no shits. He was and you're transphobic. You always do this. Like, damn.
He doubled down. He said, no, my community, no. It's been so, like, he made sure she do, baby. No, ma'am. You be throwing them up a line, period.
And how you know he's serious is when he's in the voice of Quentin versus Funky Dineva.
That's what exactly. Yeah. He did not give that. He put no type of entertainment, nothing on that thing. He gave that thing from Quentin, from that bird chest. That thing came up off of. So now that I'm thinking about it too, another perspective is maybe because Funky got dragged for his Chloe Bailey comments, and his co-hosts didn't really probably do what they could have did to salvage what was, remaining of his reputation. So maybe what Funky extracted from that was, okay, we co-workers and we friends, but the dynamics of the show is every man for themselves. So since nobody's in the business of protecting me, I'm just gonna let it rip. When I got something to say, I'm gonna say it, and I ain't gonna commit to trying to clean nothing up. I'm gonna let the other person either clean it up, not clean it up. But I said what I said, because when it was my turn, y'all ain't necessarily go all out y'all way to make sure that Funky was understood to not be a misogynist and a black woman hit, etc. So maybe he just felt like, okay, like it's all fair game. It's no foul, no harm. It's just all fair game.
It's just all fair game. And look, I may be wrong, but I don't remember Al or Claudia coming. And I'm not talking about saying it on the show. I'm talking about coming out on their
right, like going out of their way.
Because even though people can say, well, you know, Funky deserved that dragon, yes, but we don't know him personally. Well, I know him personally, but they work with him. At least that's the image they portray, that they friends and they meet up sometimes.
Right. They go out to dinner, they talk on the phone, or they share industry secrets, they be on FaceTime or looking at each other's dirty homes and everything. So yeah, it gives real cozy energy. Real cozy.
So I'm just saying.
Interesting stuff, child. It's interesting. Do you think we need to drop the link and let a few people up to give their opinion? Or
I do. I mean, I'm cool with that. You know, if you want, I'm totally cool. I did want to say two other things, just so I don't forget. Okay. I did want to say, once again, I like the way you break things down, because it creates a space for people to feel comfortable to express themselves. If we just hop on somebody's throat when they misspeak when it comes to the queer community, which a lot of people still really don't get it, then people just gonna feel like they can't say nothing, and they just gonna say fuck it. They're not gonna express themselves. So, and you can't bridge a united front that way. Okay. Number two, the issue we're really having with all this women versus queer stuff, and I'm not a woman. I got a whole dick. Right, and balls, and I identify.
Amen.
There we go, and identify. But women feel that they are being replaced and overlooked in society by trans women. Point blank in the period. I can't really explain it the way a woman could, but from what my audience has said, that's how they feel. They feel like they're being replaced by trans women. And so, until y'all hash that out, I know you're not trans, but until they hash that out, like, we're always gonna have this back and forth, shots back and forth. Like, no, we need to get to the root of it. Why do women feel like they're being replaced by trans women, and just have that discussion? So, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, you know, I've obviously heard those sentiments echoed down the hallway as well, and I just want women's community, period, both trans women, especially Black trans women and Black women, to realize that neither one of them have the actual privilege to replace each other, because neither one of them have privilege. Neither community has any privilege. So this idea that anybody's replacing anybody, or biological natural born women being a threat to trans women, or trans women being a threat to biological women, is not real. And it is a feeling, and it's a result of the cage that patriarchy has put women in. Trans women cannot oppress you, making up, Black trans women can't oppress you, making up less than 1% of the human population, and bearing no privilege at all to do so. Replace where? There is no replace, but there is a actual oppression, and there is an anti-femininity campaign that has been propagated in this country against women, because we live in a patriarchal system. And sometimes I feel like trans women end up being burdened with being blamed for the cage that white men put black women in, and that black cis men are sustaining over black women. Because when you look at the black femicide rates, it's not trans women unaliving black women. It's not trans women with DV rapes against biological women. It's not trans women impregnating black women and leaving them in single parent households and abandoning their sons and daughters. It's not trans women burglarizing their homes or snatching them into alleyways and taking their innocence and their virtues. The sense of being snuffed out is real, and it's due to men snuffing women out. Men who identify as men who occupy interpersonal and intimate relationships to women, who have built that cage. Queer people don't have no power and privilege to replace women. Women make up the majority of the population in this country. 54% women, 51% men. Trans women, once again, make up less than 2%. Black trans women make up less than 1%. So I just wish that the energy was directed
where it needed to go.
Like to the author of the confusion, and not to the other members who are also being ostracized, being unalived, being exploited in the very same fashion in the name of anti-femininity. Because black trans women and black women, whether they like each other or not, whether they agree with each other's lifestyles or gender identities or share the same philosophies, all of that ultimately is irrelevant because they're both in the same boat in a patriarchy. Both black trans women and black biological women are in the same boat. Whether they agree with each other is irrelevant. They're being unalived for the same reasons. They're being exploited for the same reasons.
I say that's probably where the conversation has to be focused, because they don't feel like they're in the same boat. They don't feel like the trans women should even be in a boat with them. So it's like you have to you have to,
and
really,
that's where biological women would have to face their own bigotry, because trans women can't work that out for biological women. Biological women feeling like, bitch, you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't even be a thing. That's all a preference and a perception. Trans women can't be burdened with your belief, which is subjective and philosophical. People are not going to live according to your philosophy. That's why we have that's why we call America a melting pot. There are people who identify as Christians, as Muslims, as atheists, as Scientologists. There are people who have all type of cultural intersections. We can have an attitude and an opinion about people, but it's wasted energy to sit here and talk and preach to the peanut gallery when the peanuts are going to be peanuts regardless. So why waste? Like, I'm not going to waste my time telling white people not to be white people, because white people exist. I can criticize them when they are infringing, being openly, unnecessarily domineering and abusive. But white people are here. Latino folk are here. Men are here. Women are here. Queer people are here. It's wasted energy to rest in a belief system about people at the end of the day you gotta commingle with. And anybody who's really upset about other people's identity, who live in this country, contribute to taxes, who contribute to the economy of this country, who put in their due diligence as a citizen on this space, anybody being upset has to really ask themselves, what do you get out of being pressed? What you get out of that? What? Because there has to be some emotional reward to be invested and be impressed. Just like Miss Claudia Jordan is, Storm, where she's literally pressed about a trans woman being celebrated in a trans space.
Yeah.
Sis, what are you pressed over? What is there to what's the issue?
Well, it's got to become personal. Maybe does Claudia feel like maybe she's been thrown away and overlooked, and why should we big up a woman that's not even a real woman? And I've been over. I don't. It's like it may be some personal with Claudia who like.
And see, and that's Storm where I just won't. But because see, I know that we don't live in a population where the majority has heightened emotional intelligence, right? So I know that a lot of people are just comfortable in their bigotry because they don't have the capacity to do the work. But see, even Claudia, like if she did the work, she would realize, oh my God, like what I'm really in battle with is my damn self. This ain't got nothing to do with trans women because trans women ain't doing nothing to me. They over there trying to get their slice of the pie and get their nut just like I'm trying to get my nut. My feelings have to do with my dynamics. It has to do with the way I've been raised. It has to do with my feelings about living in a man-made system, in a male-oriented system, controlled by the masculine, influenced by the masculine, coerced by the masculine, attacked by the masculine, disempowered by the masculine. I'm just beating up on the person that's in close proximity to me because like the same way why Black Americans go to war with Black Americans, right? It's because we feel that attacking the system of whiteness is impossible, but that rage and those feelings are still there, regardless of there being no proper outlet for the expression of that distress and that anger and that frustration. So what we do, we direct that frustration to the people we have the closest proximity to, which is our own people. There is a theory that the DV rates between Black women and Black men are so high, and why Black men perpetuate more DV than Black women do is because Black men live in a white capitalistic racist patriarchal environment where they feel like massa is out of touch. So instead, they take their frustrations that are directed toward massa and take that out on their Black female counterparts. They beat up, abuse,
that's a fact.
Exploit, destroy, and absolutely obliterate women, using them as the emotional dumpsters because they don't have anywhere else to put this feeling of emasculation. They don't have anywhere else to put this feeling of being castrated and buck broken. They can't attack who really is responsible for the condition. So they swing on whoever is next to them. And in that context is Black women. For Black women, as it relates to the issues around gender, for them, the emotional dumpster is Black trans women. They can't fight men. So the frustration either has to be directed toward each other, which is why you have a lot of biological women who don't even like to deal with other women.
Ooh.
You have a lot of women, biological women, who are proud, who literally wear it as a badge of honor. Like, I don't even fuck with other women. Like, I prefer to be around men because women are ... Like, women, biological women, acknowledge all of the jealousy and envy and hatred and all of the envy that marinates in women's community. So women also live in a system where they are being oppressed by a principality and a power that they don't know yet how to properly dismantle and attack. So they have to take out their frustrations, like Black men doing, the people closest to them. Black men take it out on Black women and the overall Black community. They tear up the Black community. They shoot up the Black communities. They run drugs and bullets all rampant through the streets of the Black community. They abuse Black children, Black women, etc. And then Black women are internalizing all of that from a Black patriarchy. Then they got to deal with what's above a Black patriarchy, which is a white patriarchy. So, but they feel they have no power to strike that. So they got to strike who's in proximity to them, which is each other and or trans women. So, and this is why we call it a cycle. It's a rinse and wash cycle that all minority people are caught up in. And the sad, disparaging part about it, Storm, is that we don't know that we are not each other's enemies because the problem has gone on for so long and it's been sustained for so long. And so much bad blood and divisiveness and betrayal and selling out of each other has taken place that we now are convinced that no, the white man who authored this confusion and has systemically created the sustainability of this division amongst minority people, it's not him no more. It's actually us. And this is why you got Black people who don't fuck with Black people. And wear that shit on their sleeve too. Like, I don't fuck with y'all. And I just come to dance for y'all. That's it. And then I'm out of here. I don't fuck with y'all. Fuck what you heard. I mean, we'll say that shit with an S on their chest. And it's sad. It's sad that the whole community is just imploding on each other. Like the whole ceiling is just collapsing in. And there's going to be nobody left when it's all said and done. There will be no community to Black. There will be no community that follows that term. It'll just be Black. There will be no reality to the term community if we don't wake up and become lucid and really understand what has happened, what has been happening, and direct our energies toward the necessary power structures to undo this poison and this cancer and this divisiveness and this destruction and this spirit of annihilation that is perpetuating itself in the spirit of Black consciousness.
Well, when you getting your PhD in your go ahead. When is you getting your PhD? You don't have to. So when you start going in these spaces and when they start bringing you on these shows, you got to break it down like that, and you gotta. I say break it down even further, but because people gonna be like, "What nihilism? What is that?" Like you gotta.
Father God, you know what?
You gonna have to really get people to understand, you're going to have to really break it down. But I get what you're saying. Like, we're all shitting on each other in society. And I get that. And listen, I still say, like, she has a right to her opinion at the end of the day. And she doesn't have to be a fan of Dylan McCovey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to, right? Mm-hmm. But I will agree if...
But when you make it about the identity,
if that whole shit was in the LGBTQIA2+ space anyway, it's not even a story. Like it shouldn't have even been on the docket.
It shouldn't have been on the docket. Make it about the trans woman's person. Don't make it about her being trans.
Yeah, but I don't even think Claudia realized. I don't think people know where those boundaries are, but that's what you're here for. That ain't my place. You educate.
But that's why Funky Loaded packed her ass up and shipped her out in an AliExpress box expeditiously because Claudia ain't dumb at this point.
True.
She's been educated. She's been informed. At this point, you're just willfully not wanting to get it and not really making up your mind. And Claudia, to your point, has to figure out how to sit in her shit.
Yes. Because I was going to say, what if she just says, you know what, well, it is what it is. I said what I said.
Keep talking, so I gotta run to the bathroom super quick.
Okay. Yeah. So to Conscious's point, like certain people that y'all think they're just not gonna get it, would y'all rather them just be real and be like, look, you trans and I don't fucking like it and I'm never gonna accept it. And that's just, it is what it is. Like, would y'all rather them try to tote the line or just really say what's on their chest? Wait, let me look at the comments as this is coming up. Let's see. Rico said, I'd rather Claudia just be real. She needs to just stop talking about LGBTQ topics. True, but then if we say that, then we could argue that maybe Al and Funky shouldn't comment on Black women topics. So that might be a little hard to do, even though we're talking about the difference of gender versus sexuality.
Yeah.
This old cast got a whole bunch of fucking issues, if you ask me.
It's a lot going on at the storm. Okay, so we got 2 guests, y'all, and we ain't got a lot of time, so I just want to get y'all in swiftly and professionally. Welcome to the platform. Hey, Ray, what's going on?
You. How you doing, baby?
I am doing lovely. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Hey, Storm, everybody.
Hey,
welcome to the platform. What are your thoughts about Claudia Jordan trying it? Is she towing that line, Ray?
I don't think so. I listened to the clip more than once, and she actually did not state any discord with Dylan's award in trans spaces. I think you heard it wrong. Unless I'm missing something else, she specifically stated that that's fine, but when it crosses over into, I don't want to say the neutral, the norm, but, into regular spaces, she sticks up for women, but she's not against trans women, especially in this case where Dylan received her award. And she also expressed that she thought T.S. Madison should have won the award based off of what T.S. Madison has accomplished. So I think you may have heard it wrong, sweetie.
No, I didn't, sweetie. I didn't hear it wrong at all. She literally is knucking, because what she did was she ran 2 things together, because she got caught up in Funky's criticism of her because of his opening statement. And then she went on this diatribe once again about not being transphobic. But there are 1,000 clips, and the one that I played from a year ago is only one of many of Claudia perpetuating these ideas that coming out is not necessary, criticizing LGBT pride events and what queer people do in those spaces, going in on trans women winning or being awarded for Woman of the Year in the neutral spaces, as she would like to call it, etc. And there's just been a thing after a thing of a thing. And that's why I played the clip from a year ago of her acting like I'm such a conservative person. And I just think that people sharing their personal life is so unnecessary. And it's just keep it to yourself. But then once again, she's also the same person sharing all of her sexapades live on air for hundreds of thousands of people to bear witness to. And she's sitting here divulging personal information about Jada Pinkett Smith's orientation and sex life, and her apparently liking coochie. So it's like, can you make up your mind? Which is why Funky Dineva said what he said. You toe that line. On the surface, it looks benign, and and people who not aware can all agree that this is your opinion, etc. But if you really take a look, Claudia, at your behavior and your lack of continuity and really rallying behind LGBT folk, which is why I hope Giselle don't fuck with Claudia Jordan, because once again, Claudia enters into LGBT spaces with under the guise that I want to be educated, I'm here to learn. And then when the community takes that time to do that, and she completely agrees with all that information, and then she gets back in these spaces and she still and she don't bring that information and that new awareness and that enlightenment to the forefront. It's like, okay, Claudia, so now the issue is not that you are uneducated, and the issue is now not anything. It's something in you, sister, that you have to just sit in yourself, and you're gonna have to unpack exactly what agitates you, what's really frustrating you, and just be comfortable in your frustration rather than trying to have both sides, because you can't love LGBT folk over here when you're in a room predominantly of LGBT folk, and then when you get in spaces that are hetero and biological adjacent, you feel comfortable sharing the right side of your brain. Like, just really take time to sort out your thoughts. And I think that's what, even if LGBT people in the chat who just feel like, girl, we really, you gonna get smoked, but at least we can put respect on it if you just declare a stance and then sustain that. Like,
can I ask you something?
Yes.
Okay, I can understand all of that, and I accept all of that. At the same time, what she said a year ago or whenever she said it, can she change her mind?
Yeah.
Because yesterday she delivered no angst about Dylan receiving her award. That's why I'm so, perplexed about, I didn't hear her have an issue with it.
So let me ask you this question, Ray.
Yeah.
So to your point, she don't have no angst. Why did Claudia even provide space for her to talk about the spaces she do feel like it's appropriate to criticize trans women in, such as them being in neutral spaces? Like, no, I don't got no problem with her being celebrated in a trans space. I would have a problem with her being honored in a neutral space. But even that's a contradiction, right? Because a neutral space is a neutral space. It ain't a cis space. It ain't a biological space. It ain't a trans space. It's a communal space where all parties intersect and galvanize together. So even to her logic, even if this trans woman had received Woman of the Year in that's how she worded it, in a neutral space, then that would still be justified, because this is a space where anyone who is qualified can occupy the tiara, can occupy the crown. So what would be your issue even if this trans woman had gotten celebrated and honored in what you call a neutral space? Because a neutral space is a neutral space. It means that in this space, color don't matter, gender don't matter, ethnicity don't matter. So if a white person got it, that's fair game, right? Because this is a neutral space. If a man got it, fair game, because this is a neutral space. If a black woman got it, fair game. If a handicapped person got it, if an obese person got it, this is a neutral space. This is about qualifications that are outside of these nuances of identity. So anybody could get that regardless of their identity. Well, and this is the stuff that Claudia don't hear she don't hear it. She's so busy feeling it, and she's so busy yabba dabba doing that she don't play it back. She don't hear her own voice. She don't hear her own logic. And then Funky was too checked out to clock her, because if I would have been Funky, I would have been able to hear all that and address that back to Claudia and say, well, look, sis, you say this your logic, right? So then, like, do the math here, because the math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing, sis. So, like, you trying to clean it up, but in you cleaning it up, you actually still prove my point. You really didn't clean that up. You didn't really do your big one. And you trying to get me together on you not being homophobic or homophobic. Because if you listen to what you said and you apply to your logic, you would just realize you just read your damn self.
So what you're saying is, or what I'm hearing is, Claudia doesn't subscribe to trans women being women.
To be fair to Claudia.
Thank you for having me up, Conscious.
Okay, Storm. Thank you for being here. Storm and Roll, you guys. Make sure y'all.
No, Storm, you the one coming pissed on the ear. Don't you leave. Don't you leave.
Storm gotta work, y'all.
I gotta go. I love y'all though.
And we love you too, Storm. Bye. That's Storm and Roll, you guys. Make sure you subscribe to Storm, the celebrity doctor. to your point, Ray, I like Claudia. So what I feel is that Claudia does not, I don't feel Claudia is transphobic. I feel like she is frustrated with the predicament that biological women are in. And I feel like she's one of the women who are misreading where her frustration should be directed to. And she just is unconsciously unaware that she's making trans women to blame for a system they didn't create, and that they are just inheriting and living in like every other woman. And she gets tired. And this is what happens when you lack emotional awareness, and when your emotional IQ is very low, is that you will lead from your feelings. And feelings and logic are two different things. Your emotions and your perceptions are one thing. What's actually happening is a whole separate thing. But when you are leading from your emotional body and your emotional perception, then it can lead your logic to be warped, because your emotions oftentimes are going to lack logic a lot of the times. And so I feel like when Claudia has an opportunity to speak on these subjects, she oftentimes misspeaks, and her math don't be mathing because she's just being present in her feelings, and she's not really unpacking the topic and making sure that she's speaking intentionally. So I don't want to, I want to believe that Claudia does see trans women as a woman, as a type of woman. But I also know that because she's a public figure and she's on a syndicated platform, that it's her job to make her intentions clear. And it's her job to burden herself with speaking very clearly and speaking very intelligent, so that her heart and her mind can be in agreement with each other in terms of execution. But I want to personally believe that she's not transphobic per se. She's just emotional, and she misspeaks because she speaks from her emotions on the issue, rather than into really intellectually approaching the situation at hand. But
well, I do appreciate you clearing that up for me. I'm gonna let you go. Have a great show. I'm gonna listen from
okay, boo. Thank you for being up here, love.
All right.
That was Ray, you guys. Intersex, welcome to the platform, love. Your thoughts on Claudia Jordan? Is she homophobic or transphobic, or what's tea? Can you hear me, Intersex? Are you there, boo? Oh, you're on mute. Okay. Intersex might have walked away from the phone super quick. Let me get to my girl, Tiff. Hey, Tiff.
Hey.
Hey, boo. How you doing?
I'm okay. Hope you are.
I am. I'm awesome. What are your thoughts on situation?
Well, I started listening as I was working. So when you played the clip, and I guess I was trying to log in, so it sounds like the speaker before me addressed it about what she said about Dylan. I don't know the last name, but about Dylan winning the award. It did sound like, as I was listening to your initial commentary, that she did say that she didn't have a problem in that space, but that's been addressed. Let me say this. The empath in me is this conversation, and I know this is just a small snippet right here, but the empath in me, as I was listening, was empathing. and so when I logged out, I said, hold on, because this, I really was hoping, and I still hope, that we are starting to heal from this whole conversation, because that month, shoot, it was longer than a month, wasn't it? Those weeks for again, the empathic people, that was some hurtful stuff. Just the whole conversation. It was a time for learning, but it also was a lot of pain on both sides.
Yeah.
So when I heard Storm coming, that's why I said, no, don't you run. Because then he got you riled up. Because even you have settled down. And I'm like, no, don't you get my boy started up now. We trying to heal. But I want to say I did now. Funky Dineva, and I think you might have talked about it when that whole exchange was going on.
Yeah.
And they had a text or email where they actually had a conversation. So I'm kind of taken aback by him like putting her on Front Street, as you said, like that, because he literally on the video went through the email because he said he asked her for permission. You remember that? Didn't you talk about that?
I don't remember. I don't remember that. An email.
It was a text. It was a text or email, and they went back and forth. And so she was
on the
giving
trans
her
issue.
perspective.
On the trans issue.
Yeah. Right. Doing that whole thing. So that's why when I saw his response just now, I was like, "That's."
But
odd.
to your point, Tiff, that may be also a part of why he just called no cap, because he know that Claudia, like that they done all talked about this stuff a trillion times, personally, privately, publicly. She done been on panels, everything. And so maybe that's where the crux of his frustration is birthed out of, is like, girl, like, how you still don't get this? Now I just gotta call a spade on your ass. Now I just gotta call it straight down the middle, because at this point you playing in our face. Well, that might have been why he just cut it so dry.
Well, I'll say this, and I'm gonna say cap back because because in that same video he made it a point to say now he had a better understanding of what the issue was for biological women. So now I'm gonna say cap back to him, but I ain't capping for either one of them, because I mean I'm team me all day. So I just wanted to just come up here and say that, because I really was surprised at that part, like you said, like, and again, having some couth, you would have, still not have done that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
on that stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put her on blast like that.
Nah, because she really could. The way people be going in on the comment section about him and black women, and he has some. He problematic. So I mean, well, no, he don't know. At least he won't accept that he's problematic when it comes to black women. And when you say, and he'll start his sentences. I know, don't say now. I know y'all gonna say protect black women, protect black women. That's passive aggressive right there. So I mean, come on now, come on.
So you feel so I take it that you are not a fan of Funky Dineva.
Oh. No, listen, he's funny. He's funny, but I don't like when he start off his sentence and he started saying that. Well, y'all be saying protect black women. Y'all be saying protect black women. So what he did to his colleague in that point, in that clip you showed, then I mean you show right there you didn't protect. And I still, if she say she black, she black. I mean, she got black. Hey, I don't go whatever. But you ain't put even at that. You ain't protect that woman. You didn't protect your colleague. And I guess I'm feeling
your so-called friend to make it worse.
Right,
like she's the so-called and matter of fact, I think Claudia had a handpick in her co-host. So she's the reason why Al and I believe Funky. I mean, if anybody know better in the chat, then let me know. But I think that Claudia is the reason why Al and Funky are there and getting the bag. And
but at Cynthia's wedding, they tell the story at Cynthia's wedding. That's when their collaboration came
I
together.
didn't know that.
Yeah, and then listen, I may be a little hypersensitive because I've been doing human resources modules all day about sensitivity training and all of that. So I guess I just was like, and implicit bias and all of that stuff. So one thing it did point out, you know, talking about privilege, and it was just breaking down all the different privileges, and I was like, damn, I didn't think about that. But guess what? They did a video. They showed a video of the privileges, and I actually said I was gonna send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me if you got it.
Interesting that this came up because it was actually a BuzzFeed, and I'm gonna get down because you don't come up here too long.
Okay.
But guess who was at the back after they went through all the different privileges?
Who?
Gender, religion. Guess who was at the very back? And that's why I think I'm emotional.
Who?
The Black gay woman.
Oh wow.
And I said, and so let me see. You know, I told you about my empathic ways. So let me go. Let me go.
Okay, boo. Well, send me the clip though. Send me the clip.
I'ma look for it. It's on, I know it's on BuzzFeed, and they put it in our training. And I was literally in that module crying because she said, as a Black gay one. And then I was like, dog, this is the stuff Conscious be talking about. And then I'm like, dog, I feel this as a Black woman. I mean, it was something. So, I mean, yeah, I'm capping back at him because I'm like, no, you protect women, damn it, for once.
Yeah, I do think he could have did better. I don't think it was friendly of him to have did it the way, to have went about it the way he went about it, considering that she is a friend and she is a colleague. So I feel like he could have definitely executed better. It was too harsh and he left it too wide open. And it was just, it was an explicit judgment, and then he just left it there. And I'm just like, you, in this climate right here, where everybody is in kind of a hypersensitive space, and everybody's listening to every word and paying attention to everything, it's like, yeah, don't do that. But to Storm's point, I don't know whether he was getting his lick back or whether, I mean, I know that both of them did say in the opening of the show that the both of them just wasn't feeling it. They just been in a funk emotionally, and clearly that energy it showed up in this episode. So
well, give me some fried donuts, and then I want a cotton, what is it?
Cotton candy,
and I want
candy apple
with peanuts. And be careful out there.
I will, because I was supposed to go and show my ass today, but then I had to order something to take to the fair, and it didn't get here until today. So now we're gonna go tomorrow. So I'll be roller coasting, and it'll be weaved to the wind tomorrow. But I'm gonna make sure I put them goodies on black ice for you and ship that out to you.
Nah, I'm trying to get down there myself. I'm trying, because I haven't been in a while, but I'm going in the daytime because our hometown is not the same.
Look, I feel the same way. I had to fly back to South Carolina, and I'm just like, South Carolina ain't what it used to be when I was going to the fair. It'd be so much gang stuff and shootings and all that. So we going at noon when everybody at work in the cubicle.
Exactly. All right.
Okay, boo.
Later.
That was Tiffany, you guys. She is not here for the way that Funky just threw Claudia to the wolves. Somebody else was saying in the chat that they don't think the show is going to last long. Though the way things been going, it is given that this ain't gonna last too much longer. I would honestly be sad to see the show expire. I don't know what the hell Fox Soul, what else they would do, because TGIF is their premiere show. It's where their bread and butter and the bulk of their views are generated from. TGIF, Claudia, Al, and Funky are literally carrying Fox Soul on their freaking backs right now. Like, they are the foundation to the network. So I don't think, if it fell apart, I don't think it'll fall apart because of producers, because producers know that they have a winning ticket with TGIF. But it might fall apart just if the cast if they just don't tighten up. If they don't tighten up with each other, shit might fall apart for personal reasons. I think things will have to be really, 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 really ratchet for the network to pull out of TGIF. I think it might fall apart for more personal reasons. What I do give Claudia Jordan a credit for is that even though she came back and she was still tight in the face, she was still real tight. You could tell she's a professional because she really pushed herself to get back into that vibration of we're here to have fun. We're here for our audience. We're here for our consumers. They deserve a good entertaining show. And she really pushed aside her own personal frustration and irritation with Funky to get back into that energy, because she eventually did get back to laughing and cackling and everything. So I wish the best. I hope that they have, you know, whatever conversation that needs to be had, and everybody can, the cast can talk about their expectations of each other, and everybody can make some collective agreements so that, you know, so that even when they need to call each other out, that they can give each other some grace and just read the room and be a little bit protective of each other, because everybody's going to have the opportunity to be in a hot seat. Funky done been in a hot seat dozens of times. Claudia done been in the hot seat. You know, Al really plays it safe for the most part, but you know, they're all going to have their fair shot of the hot seat. So I hope they keep it, you know, they can just hold it together, because it was wild to see it today. I was like, Jesus. But you know, in terms of what Funky said, that is what is given. Claudia just need to really figure out so that whatever it is she wants to give can be clearly given when she goes to speak her piece. I got to get out of here. I know Intersex is getting a Carisha 19 shot. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get Intersex's commentary because I got to bounce you guys. But this was a dope show. Shout out to all of the panelists. Shout out to Storm Monroe. Shout out to TGIF. I'll be tuning in tonight, girl, to see what it gives at 8 o'clock, girl. Okay. Let me read some of the comments before I get up out of her. Kevin says, okay, y'all talking to each other. Deborah says, I don't want them to lose their jobs. I don't either. Like, they got a good thing going. Viper says, I think she says, I'm no fan of Fox Soul or Breakfast Club or Ricky Smiley Talk Show. I just don't listen to them. And Steve Harvey's show is annoying, but I love nephew Tommy and his phone pranks. Okay, I ain't never heard of Tommy and his phone pranks. Teamy says they need better producers and stories. Yeah, that could probably help is to spice up the news reporting, etc. Ebony says, I like them though, but yeah, tighten up. Yeah, the breakdown says, I hope they get it together moving forward. May be discussed said topics beforehand. Yeah, for sure. They better go down to the bar. That guy that hired them left. Oh, okay. They disagreed on a lot on here. Yeah. And, you know, and there's nothing wrong with Discord because, you know, that's all a part of commentating because you don't really want an echo chamber. So you want the Discord because that's what really makes a show, keeps a show really interesting and kind of on the edge of the table and, you know, gives it that adrenaline and makes things kind of exciting. But, you know, there's a thin line between disagreeing and selling each other out, you know, and you just want to be careful not to sell each other out when you are disagreeing. Sometimes those lines do get real thin, okay? But that line does exist. So tell a friend of a friend of a friend about the show, guys. This was amazing. The best commentator in the sky rates, honey. All right. We get into all the things, honey. Leave your opinion and your feedback down below, honey. Like, what is it giving for you? And I will see you all later. Bye.